The people of Wainsgate in northern England were all farmers and shepherds who had been described as being poor as Job's turkey and whose speech you could hardly understand. The majority of them were unable to read or write, and most of them were given to wild tempers. And it was into this community that the Baptist leadership had sent John Fawcett and his wife to establish a church. John felt he could identify with the people of Wayne's Gate because he knew poverty and hard work. He was born in 1740 to a poor family, and at the age of 12, became an indentured servant to a tailor in Bradford. Fawcett came to faith in Jesus Christ at the age of 16 through the preaching of George Whitefield. Then, at the age of 25, he was ordained as a Baptist minister and accepted the invitation to pastor that small, poor congregation in the community of Wainsgate. Now, listen, the congregation could not pay him much, and most of what John received as wages came in the form of wool and potatoes and other produce. And when John and his wife Mary began having children, they found it difficult to make ends meet. And so, after serving at Wainsgate for 7 years, John received a call to a large and influential church in London that would be able to provide them a much larger salary. And they decided to move. Well, he had preached his final sermon and came to the moment of their last farewells. Many of his congregation stood by the wagon in tears. But the sight of so many tearful people and all the sad goodbyes proved too much for Fawcett and his wife. He asked the men to unload the wagon. He and his wife had decided to stay. Well, the following Sunday, John closed his sermon by reading a new song he had written titled Brotherly Love. Now, while you may not recognize the song by that title, you may recognize the words. Here is what he penned. Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love. The fellowship of kindred minds is like to that above. Before our Father's throne, we pour our ardent prayers. Our fears, our hopes, our aims are one, our comforts and our cares. We share our mutual woes, our mutual burdens bear, and often for each other flows the sympathizing tear. And listen, John and Mary Fawcett stayed and continued a faithful ministry in that little village of Wainsgate for 54 years. Now, Hebrews 10:25 tells us not to forsake the assembling of ourselves together. Listen, I hope that you are experiencing the tie that binds in a Christian fellowship, a fellowship where you can pray together and receive encouragement and spiritual growth in the grace and the knowledge of Jesus Christ. And this, my friend, is my Wednesday word for you.